Hi, I'm Grant Monday.
And I'm Maya. Welcome to a special edition of our Panther News Show.
Today we come together to honor our brave men and women who have served the United States Armed Forces.
Veterans Day is a time to show our gratitude to those who have defended our country, protected our freedoms, and dedicated their lives to serving others.
This important day began as Armistice Day in 1919, marking the first anniversary at the end of World War I.
In 1954, it was renamed Veterans Day to recognize all American veterans from every branch, every generation, and every conflict for their courage and sacrifice.
Each year on November 11th, we pause to reflect on what their service truly means. Veterans remind us that freedom is not free. It is earned through dedication, sacrifice, and the love of country.
Through ceremonies, parades, and moments of silence, we come together to say two simple but powerful words. Thank you.
To all who have served and to those who continue to protect our nation today, we honor you today and every day.
Happy Veterans Day from all of us here at Carolina Forest High School.
Good afternoon. My name is Captain Kevin Boyle. I was in the United States Navy. I was in the Navy for 25 years. The question was asked, why did I join? What did I do? I joined because my family served. Almost every member of my family on the male side has served. I wanted to do my part. I've been on every coast. I've been to 61 countries. Spent 3 years in Germany. I've seen the green flash at the sea when the sun comes just parallel with the bottom of the top of the ocean. I've met some of the best men and women in my life serving in the United States military. It was a great experience. It taught me a lot, and it kind of makes everything else I do a little bit easier by comparison to what that was. But it was a great experience, and I would recommend anybody who thought hard about it.
I'm Jeffrey Bean. I was a sergeant in the United States Army. I served from 2006 to 2013. My first duty station was Fort Stewart, Georgia, right outside of Savannah, with the 3rd Infantry Division. And from there, I deployed to Operation Iraqi Freedom twice, once in 2007 and 2008. Came back home for about 9 months and deployed again in 2009 and 2010. From there, I went to Fort Bliss, Texas, and finished out my contract there. The reason I joined the military simply is I just wanted to better myself and help my family to be able to better themselves as well.
Hello, Mr. Layton. I served in the Army. I still serve in the Army Reserves. I commissioned in 2008, and so I've been in for 17 years now. My first 3 years was active duty, and the last 13 or 14 have been in the reserves. Right now, I currently serve as the Division G4, so I'm in charge of all of the logistics for Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And the reason I joined was because of 9/11, basically. I just felt like I was living here for free because I was born in the country, and I wanted to earn my right to live here, so I did something about it.
Mr. Root, I served in the Army National Guard for about 8 years, 2016 to 2024. Joined right after high school, military police. Served just to be able to have a better opportunity, go out and explore the world, what it had to offer. Came back with a lot of more life experience. Yeah.
Hi, this is Coach Dave. I served the United States Coast Guard from 1985 to 1989. I was on a 95-foot patrol boat. Primarily our jobs were maritime law enforcement, drug interdiction, and search and rescue. I was stationed in Rockaway Beach, New York. Our patrol area was down in the Bahamas and the Florida Keys. I served 4 years active duty and 4 years reserve duty. I'm proud of my service. Looking back on it now, I wish I would have made a career of it and stayed in 20 years. The service helped to give me a little bit of discipline, and it gave me some structure, and I really needed that at a young age when I was coming out of high school.
Thank you to my grandfather who was in the Army.
Thank you to my grandpa Caston, he was in the Army.
Thank you to my dad for serving in the Army. Thank you to my mother's brother who died in combat before I was ever born. I hope that you're having a wonderful time in heaven. I hope to meet you soon, but not soon enough.
I want to say thank you to my grandpa, my uncle,
my stepdad, and basically my entire family, because my mom's side of the family is like in the Army a lot, and they served in it. And like after high school, I'm going to the Army, so I'm gonna continue that. Well, I would say like generational thing. So.
Thank you for my pop. He's a veteran, and all the other veterans out there, personally.
Hi, I would like to thank my father-in-law, Richard Allen McKnight, for serving in the Army. Also, my niece, Kiara Henson, and my nephew, who is currently serving, Gerardi Hill. Thank you for your service.
Robert, for being in the Army.
I want to thank my uncle for serving in the Navy.
Thank you to my cousin for serving in the Navy.
I thank my great-grandfather for serving in World War II.
Thank you to my dad who served in the Marines.
Thank you to my cousin Matthew who served in the Marines.
Thank you to my grandpa who served in the Air Force.
Thank you to my Uncle John.
Thank you to my uncle, he served in the Navy.
Hey, I'm Mr. Hawley, I teach biology here. I would like to thank all veterans on Veterans Day, especially my father, United States Marine Corporal Michael Hawley. He was in Beirut after the barracks bombing. My grandfather was in World War II in the Army. He was in all 4 or 5 major campaigns of the European conflict, and my great-grandfather was also in the First World War.
Thank you to my grandpa who served in the military.
Thank you for my grandpa for serving in the Air Force.
Thank you to my mom who served in the Air Force.
Thank you to my uncle who served in the Air Force.
Thank you to my aunt who served in the Navy.
Thank you to my dad for serving in the Army.
Thank you to my grandpappy for serving in the military.
Thank you to my grandpa for serving in the Vietnam War.
Thank you to my dad for serving in the Army.
Hi, so happy Veterans Day. I just want to thank my papa for serving in the veteran and fighting for us.
I want to shout out my uncle.
Shout out my grandfather for serving in the Marines.
Thank you to my grandpa who served in the military.
Shout out to my brother who served in the Army National Guard.
Shout out to Gary who served in the Vietnam War.
Thank you for my dad for being a veteran.
Sweet. So I want to give a shout out to my boys, Matthew Foster and Shastine Sanso, for serving in the military. Also my grandfather, who was in the Coast Guard as well. Shout out to them.
I would like to put a shout out to Lieutenant Shaylee Ship, U.S. Navy, serving currently in Okinawa, Japan.
I would like to thank Lieutenant Colonel John H. Burson III for serving in the Army at age 71. Y'all can look this up on Google. He did 3 tours in the Middle East. He's a medical doctor in Georgia.
I'd like to thank my dad for serving inside the Afghanistan war.
I'd like to thank my cousin Brett Williams for serving in the Army.
I would like to thank my Uncle Jose for serving in the U.S. Navy.
Hey, yeah, so I have a bunch of people in my family who are veterans. My dad was a veteran of the Coast Guard, served for 22 years. And my sister she was in the Air Force as an officer. She went to Afghanistan during that conflict. So big props to those two in my family, really proud of their military service.
I would like to thank my granddad for serving in the Afghanistan war.
My dad, he did not serve in any active military, but he was in the Army. And then my 2 cousins are currently in the National Guard, and one's stationed at the border.
I'm thanking my grandpa. He served in the Army and the Vietnam War.
I'm thanking my uncle that was in the Navy.
I'd like to thank my uncle because he served in the Afghanistan war.
I'd like to thank my grandfather. He was the head of communication in the Army.
I'd like to thank Harry Faust, my papa, for serving in the Air Force.
Hey, my son is currently a gunnery sergeant in the Marine Corps, and he deploys all the time.
I would like to thank my father for being in the military because he's just been such a huge inspiration to me, and he's the reason that I will be joining the military in the future.
I'm wanting to thank my dad. He was in the Navy as a corpsman. He didn't serve in any wars, but I'm wanting to thank him because he's a big inspiration, and he's the reason I do a lot of the stuff I do.
I'd like to thank my 2 grandfathers for serving in the U.S. Army and my Papa Wayne for being in the Vietnam War.
I'd like to thank my grandpa for serving in Vietnam as an Army combat medic.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Allen, and I want to give thanks to both of my grandfathers. My papa served in the Navy, and then my baba actually served in the Air Force.
I want to thank my great-great-granddad for serving in the Army.
I want to thank my dad, Chad Guess, who was a Marine and he served in Iraq.
I'm thanking my brother, and he's in the Air Force.
I'm thanking my uncle's cousin for being in the Army.
All right, take two. I just want to thank my brother, Frank, served in the United States Air Force. All I want to say is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hi, my name is Shakosha Lewis. I am subbing here today, and I am a United States veteran. I served in the United States Navy for 10 years. 5 of those years, I was an aviation electronic technician. The other 5 years, I went into intelligence. I joined the Navy really because I felt like it was a good way to give back to the world in general, and it also came with a lot of opportunity for me, such as college, traveling the world, and other benefits that are still serving me until this day.
I'd like to thank my grandpa. He was in the Navy and he served for 4 years. And I'd also like to thank my uncle. He was in Vietnam, and yeah.
Hi, I'd like to thank my father, Command Sergeant Major Franklin D. Hughes, who served in the United States Army. He served for 42 years, and he served for Operation Desert Storm as well.
I thank my brother, and he's in the Navy.
I'd like to thank the veterans that now serve Carolina Forest High School. They're here as teachers or custodians or cafeteria workers, and we just appreciate their service to our country, but also the service that they give to our kids, our staff, and our school and our community every day.